What's up everyone, my name's Robbie. This is Robbie in Manila, and today we're talking about the best tech sector ETF. This is the 7th video in our series about the best sector ETFs, and today of course we're doing the Information Technology Sector, the tech sector, one of the most popular of the sectors. How has the technology sector done lately? So here we have our awesome little graphic, and it's going to show us how the sectors have performed over different time periods. This orange box is the information technology sector, and as you can see, it's had a 13.8% return this year, but the S&P 500 so far has outperformed it with a 15.3% return. But of course, we all know technology has done very well, so if you take a look at all the different returns of the information technology sector, many of the years it's actually outperforming the S&P 500. So as you can see, if you were overweight in the tech sector over the past few years, it would have been a good idea. So anyway, let's go ahead and figure out what is the best ETF to invest in the tech sector. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know, what do you think about the information technology sector right now? Are you bullish? Do you think it's a good place to overweight? Let me know. I would love to hear from you. We're going to compare 5 different tech sector ETFs in this video. So what do we have? We have the Technology Select Sector Spider Fund, ticker symbol XLK. We have the Fidelity MSCI Information Technology Index ETF, FTEC. We have the Vanguard Information Technology Index Fund ETF, VGT. We have the ever popular Invesco QQQ Trus, ticker symbol QQQ. More on this one later because this is not a pure tech sector play. We then have the Invesco S&P 500 Equal Weight Technology ETF, ticker RYT. Here we have our ETF comparison. So let's familiarize ourselves really quick with this. So on the top here, you have the different tickers. This is a column. So for example, XLK is here. This is all the info for XLK, FTEC, VGT. I think you get the idea. Let's start with what is the expense ratio of these different ETFs. So first we have XLK, the Tech Sector Spider Fund, and this is a 0.12% expense ratio. Then we have FTEC at 0.084% expense ratio. We have VGT with 0.10. QQQ with 0.20 and RYT with 0.40. They're all pretty cheap with the exception of RYT is kind of getting up there. QQQ a little bit more than I would love, but it's not too bad. The next thing I like to look at is the weightings of these different ETFs. How are they weighted? So you'll see that all of these ETFs that we have today, with the exception of RYT, are market cap weighted. Now RYT is equally weighted. What does that mean? Assume RYT had 10 stocks in it. Well, all 10 stocks would hold the same weighting in the portfolio. So if there's 10 stocks, they would all have 10% of the portfolio. But the market cap weighted funds, they would have more weightings in the larger companies. So if like Apple was in it, if Google was in it, that would make the weightings of those companies higher than the lower, smaller companies. So that's always something to take note of. Next, I like to see the yield, even though, of course, if you're investing in the tech sector, you're probably not chasing yields, but might as well take a look at it anyway. For XLK, we have a 0.68% yield. FTEC, we have 0.62, VGT 0.64, QQQ 0.46, and RYT 0.69. Taking a look at the fundamentals, of course, these are tech ETFs, so they're going to have higher PEs than a lot of other sectors. They're all very similar in their PE ratios, so over 30 on all of them, the lowest being RYT, which is 30.5. The price to books are also kind of similar, except you take a look at QQQ and RYT are under 10, while the other 3 are over 10. Taking a look at the Morningstar ratings, let's first focus on the 5-year rating. All of them have a 4-star rating except for QQQ, which has a 5-star rating. But what you're going to want to notice is that QQQ is actually rated in a different category than these, so you can't really compare it in this one. Moving on to the returns. Let's take a look first at the 5-year returns because FTEC isn't old enough to have a 10-year return. So on the 5-year, we have 29.46% for XLK, FTEC with 30.10, VGT with 30.80, QQQ with 27.98, and then RYT with 25.13. So VGT is looking pretty good, and one interesting factor I'm going to mention here is that a lot of people always talk about QQQ as like equivalent of like a information technology ETF, but as you can see, the pure sector ETFs all had better returns than QQQ. So now let's take a look at the portfolios. Which of these are concentrated, which are more diversified? Well, we have XLK is more concentrated with 78 positions, FTEC with 346, so it's more diversified. VGT is pretty diversified. QQQ is pretty diversified, but a little bit concentrated, comparatively speaking. RYT is a bit more concentrated. Like I said, I wanted to throw QQQ in here because I'm sure people would be asking, what about QQQ? Because they kind of associate it with a tech sector ETF. But as you'll see here, QQQ doesn't only have tech sector weighting. There's communication services with 18.5%. There's consumer discretionary with 18.1%. The tech sector is only 49% of QQQ. So it's really not a pure information technology sector ETF, and it's also not going to be the one I picked today. So let's take a look at the top 10 holdings of these different ETFs. Microsoft, Apple, and XLK, then Microsoft. RYT is different because it's equally weighted, so it's going to have smaller positions on all of the different positions that they have. Finally, we're going to take a look at how big the different companies are. XLK has 72% in giant companies. FTEC has 63% in giant. VGT 61%. QQQ 65%. And RYT 17.38%. So something to note is that XLK is going to have larger companies in it on average. FTEC is going to have some medium and small as well with no micro. Same with VGT, QQQ, and then RYT is going to be the one where you're going to get a lot more of a majority of the in medium and in large. We've gone over all of these ETFs now. We have to finally crown a winner, and this is a big one because this is probably the favorite sector of most people. So today we are going to crown the winner of the best tech sector ETF, and it's going to be VGT. Why VGT, you may ask? Well, let's go first and take a look at the performance real quick. It's got the best 5-year performance. It's got the best 10-year performance, and it's got the best 3-year performance. So really, it is the best performing of these ETFs. And when it comes to an expense ratio, VGT has a 0.10% expense ratio compared to the Fidelity ETF, which is just slightly less money. So really, it's a very cheap ETF with great returns. So the next question is, how has VGT performed against the S&P 500? Going back over the past 10 years, we can see that VOO, which is the S&P 500 in orange, versus VGT in light blue. VGT has far outperformed the S&P 500, which you probably know because tech has done an amazing job over the past 10 years. The next thing I want to do is look at the technicals of VGT. If we go back to March of 2020, we can see that there's a big uptrend channel for this sector ETF, but it has tested this uptrend line multiple times. So if we zoom in, we can see a break down through the uptrend line and a break back up into it. It happened again back in September, breaking down through the line, and now breaking back up through the resistance of that uptrend line. What's going to happen going forward? Well, RSI really close to the overbought territory. Looks like it's potentially on its way down. MACD also declining and maybe turning over coming up very soon. So if I was trying to time my entry into this ETF, I would be wary right now. But that doesn't mean that if you're a long-term investor, it's not a good time to invest in this ETF. If you're going to buy and hold it, then don't worry about timing a position, especially if you're dollar cost averaging. And that is all we have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with my pick? What do you think is going to happen with the tech sector going forward in 2022? And also, of course, hit that like button, subscribe to see future content like this. And I got another video. It's coming up. It's on the end screen. You should probably click it right now.